Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Today's podcast. I am Dave. This is episode 281 of the Digital Today's podcast. And today I have a very special guest joining me all the way down south. Well, south to me. We have from New York, we have Joe Cards joining us. Joe, thanks for coming on the show.
And thanks for having me, Dave. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, now we met at D2D Con in the spring.
That's correct.
Right, boy, that went by fast, didn't it? Those 2
I
days.
can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, that was so fast. And I missed you guys in Ohio this year. It just kind of didn't work out for me this year with some
Right.
personal issues. But
You
I
were
hope
missed.
that. I thank you so much. I hope that we can get together at some other point here. We got a few things in the works that we're kicking around here between now and next spring. But you never know what's going to happen. But anyway, Joe's going to come on today, and Joe is a longtime Strat-o-Matic player, and I've always wanted to talk to somebody that played a game for a long time and then started playing some other games. And I'm interested to know his thoughts on, changing gears, so to speak, and playing some other games. We're going to get into that here in a few minutes. Ways to get a hold of us, digitaltodice.com is the website. That's digitaltodice.com. 978-751-DICE is the text line. Digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. All righty. Now, before we get going, Joe, one thing I do like to ask everybody that comes on the show is if you could go back in time and attend any sporting event at all, what would that be?
So this is a question when I've listened to you over the years, and I always wanted to be asked. Hands down, the 1980 Olympics when we beat the Russians. Hands down.
Really? That's one of the big ones. A lot of people bring that up. And, with Kenny Dryden just passing away recently and Eddie Jacquemin, unfortunately. I was listening to an Al Michaels interview that he was talking about Kenny Dryden. Someone said, hey, tell me a Kenny Dryden story. And he says that, do you know that during those 80 Olympics, Kenny Dryden was the color commentator with Al Michaels for that. And he said that that they had played some games, and then Kenny drove up to Ottawa and took the bar test during the Olympics and passed it, and then drove back and did the rest of the games with Al Michaels. I mean, he says that's just kind of like Ken Dryden was. So he says they asked Al Michaels, says, could you tell us any other stories? Like, what did you guys do after the USA won? And he goes, you know what happened after the USA won? He goes, we had to stick around and do the next game.
Right. Everyone forgets that there was a final game to win.
No, this is right after.
Right. Okay.
Right after. So that was going to be on a tape delay, but they said if something happens and we can't get it on tape delay, we need to show something. So Al Michaels and Ken Dryden did play-by-play and color for the game right after, which is like Sweden, Finland, or whoever it was. It was Sweden and somebody, I think he said. And he said that that never really made it anywhere. That they did that game, they recorded, so they didn't like go off and celebrate the USA win, or they just went right to work on the next game, and it was broadcasted to Sweden. So somebody in Sweden got to see the game. But they said so, and it never really saw the light of day except for a broadcast out in Sweden. But so I didn't know that. I didn't know that they stuck around.
Very interesting.
And they did basically what was a meaningless game because the network was concerned about what happens if they couldn't put out the replay of the USA game. So a couple interesting Ken Dryden stories.
Quick note to that.
Sure.
So speaking of that, when they won, and you said they couldn't go out and celebrate, I read books and stuff on it. Herb Brooks would not congratulate them, because he knew they had another game to win to get the gold. He would not congratulate the players.
Yeah, the movie was great.
Yes, I love that movie.
Kurt Russell was so good. You'll take it to your graves. Oh my God, that speech there was so good. And, that was an unbelievable time. So that is a good one. The 1980 USA Russia hockey. That was fantastic. Okay, all righty. So, but I know something before we get going. What do we do? What we're playing? Okay, I haven't done that in a while here. So let's do what we're playing. Hang on, so let me cue the music up. There we go. Alrighty, I'll let you kick things off. Joe, what have you been playing?
Okay, what have I not been playing? No. I've been jumping between Hockey Blast.
Okay.
Because I'm in the 81-82 co-op replay,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been jumping over to payoff pitch because I do the 84
Right.
replay, the community replay. So those are the main two. And on my third table, I've been jumping between Apple football, still trying to learn it, get it down pat. And I actually just put up ST's game, matchup college football.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Got a lot of things going on there. I too have been playing some Apple football. I'm surprised that I managed to find the time because I'm in my full swing now with my my play-by-play now. Becoming 3 or 4 times a week along with my regular job, and I really enjoy it. But it's just work. But I did sneak in a couple games of Apple football. Had some fun doing that.
It's a fun game.
It is. It takes me a while to set up, but I don't mind it because I enjoyed when I'm done setting up. It's like, okay, now I'm ready to go.
Right.
And I've been playing a lot of solitaire pro football.
Okay.
And I think Vinny has too. I've been talking to Vinny a little bit. He's been playing solitaire pro football too. And that's just that second season and season ticket football, there's like no setup. It's a team sheet.
Right.
So you just take the team sheet and you just go. So that's what's really fun about those games there. So I've been playing a lot of that, the solitaire pro football. I actually started playing the quick play version of solitaire pro football, where you just roll a couple of dice, and I think it's 2 rolls per team to get a final score. And the way that Mike does that is he has the entire season printed out week by week, and each of the teams with their matchup, they have their offensive, defensive ratings on the sheet. So all you do is print out the sheet and start rolling dice.
Wow.
And that you don't have to fill in anything except scores.
And that's great. Like if you decide, let's say I decided to do the Giants schedule, but I wanted to fill in all the others. That's a great, alternative to use that quick play to get through the season.
Yeah. I love games that have the quick play feature just to kind of give you some scores to round it out, if you will. So it's a lot of football. I've been in a football mood with those 2 games there. Yeah, it is. I played a little bit of the payoff pitch. I think I squeezed in one of my 1976 Red Sox games. Yep, that's a fun one there. I'm enjoying that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I played. I did some unboxings. And my double elimination season ticket baseball product I'm doing. It's 4 teams. It's the Red Sox, the Royals, the Rangers, and the Orioles. I've eliminated 2 teams now, so I'm down to my last 2 teams, and it's Texas, Baltimore, I believe it is. And so Baltimore has to beat Texas twice, basically, to win. So as Clay jumps in here, so just in time as I'm talking about season ticket baseball. But so I need to go and play that last 1 or 2 games, whatever it's going to be, and I'm gonna play them both in Texas because Texas is the 2-0 team, and so Baltimore will be the visitor twice. I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I actually, it's what I play, and I always try to plug in. I'm doing a 55 National League season replay. Don't care if it takes me 3 years. I just want to enjoy it. No rush, not going nowhere. And I'm actually using season ticket baseball for it. So I always kind of plug that somewhere in my gameplay.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I have the 76 American League for payoff pitch over here, and every now and then, if I get home from work late, I'll just play a game from that 76 season. So I'm chipping away at the Red Sox season. I do the same thing. So it's just kind of sitting over here. Let me see. So that's basically all I've been playing. I did notice that Grant is releasing a new set of fast action cards for his hockey game, which is going to include 12 new cards.
Yeah, I ordered it, and it's actually including a lot more. There's going to be new penalty cards, actually a new board, an easier way to do the penalties, but yet more intricate. So there is a lot you're getting for the upgrade.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. If you go in and read it, when you put it up, if you click on it, there's all bullet points of what you're getting. Because at first I was like, I'm going to just buy, 12 cards, but that's not the case. And we never question Grant because he does it the right way.
And I was just thinking about that. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody about the fast action cards. And when you have fast action cards and they get different results on them, I suppose you could actually, add cards into that deck and to create some variety and maybe a rare play or a crazy play or something like that. Whereas when you get charts, you're kind of locked locked into the charts.
Right?
And not that that's a bad thing, but we're just talking
really
here.
Add to it like you could, like you said, with fast action cards.
Yeah, so if
I get what you're saying.
And the great thing about Grant's games is, I know in the highlight hockey, you got, I don't know how many cards you got, but you only pick so many for each period.
Right.
So
it's
you don't use
20 total, right?
So you don't use all the cards. Whereas in the quick decks, you use 20 cards. I think it's 1 minute, right? Or
yes.
I think it's 20 minutes. Yeah, it's 1 minute cards, and I think you get more than 20 cards. So you're not always using the same 20.
You're getting a lot more.
So now, if you're adding even more cards into that, so you should get a lot different gameplay, because now you're adding more variety in, because again, so you're not using the same 20 cards is what I'm getting at. So now you're going to be even adding more into that pile. So I think that's where it kind of works out.
Right. Makes sense.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. What else is coming up here? I think that's all I got coming up here that I can think about here. Anyway, all right. So what do you think? So let's get right down to the meat and potatoes of the show, shall we? Here we go. Okay. So Joe Cards, I take it that you're the Strat player, right?
Yeah, that's how I, started out.
Okay. So was that one of the first games that you played, Strat?
Okay. So as a kid, my dad was into sports, and he was a tabletop guy, believe it or not. We used to play the rod hockey, you name it. But Cadaco baseball, the spinner. We used to play that a lot when I was a kid. And reading, I remember seeing like in sporting news and comic books, Strat-o-Matic, but never got it. And 1985, I remember that's when I started. I was in took my wife, we were married a couple of years, to the mall. She was shopping. I found a game store, a place called the Game Room. And I went in, and for some reason, I found a sports section. I see Strat-o-Matic baseball. I was like, I got to grab this. And the rest is history. 2 years later, it became Strat-o-Matic hockey, because I saw that in there.
Yeah.
And so since 1985, I've played Strat-o-Matic baseball, still doing 87 Strat-o-Matic hockey.
Wow. So you've been playing that 85, so that's what, 40 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so when we did the What You're Playing, you listed off a lot of different games. At what point did you decide to maybe try something besides Strat?
That's a great question. So I was shown.
I got my Jets glass here.
Yeah, and I have my Charm on.
This Jets glass is actually a joke. So Christmas, I think my uncle gave it to me for Christmas. So when he comes over to my house, I always give him his drink in the Jets glass.
Probably got it in the gas station. They used to give them out in the gas stations.
That's
how old I am. But anyway, getting back to your question. So people had showed me other hockey games, going back 10 years ago. And to me, it was like, no, this doesn't come near Strat. I like Strat. I was pig-headed. I'm an open-minded guy, but I was pig-headed because I really wasn't into it like I am now. And then about a little over a year ago, somebody gifted me Hockey Blast Express by Play. And I felt guilty not playing it, because the person who gifted it to me means a lot to me. And I know they're going to ask me. And from that point on, I'll say it like this, like I've told Keith Avalone, I fell down the Play rabbit hole. And from that, I sprouted into season ticket baseball. That was probably the second this only baseball game I played next to Strat, and really liked it. Really, really liked it. And just from there, listen, I put it to, I might like filet mignon and lobster, but I can't eat it every night. You get tired of it. But we've also I think we've come to a point in the gaming world where it's not like the 80s, the mid 80s to late 80s. There are quality games coming out now. These developers, they're geniuses as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, and from Play games probably launched me. And then I got the History Maker Baseball. I'm not even a golfer, and I fell in love with the History Maker Golf. But Play games launched me from Strat, and then, like I said, and then Clay's game, Season Ticket Baseball 2, was another push, and I just exploded from there.
So you think that was the reason to change up from Strat, from so many years of Strat, was because somebody gave you that game? Or was there ever the inkling of you saying, I see everybody playing all these
Yes,
different games. I wonder if I should try one of them?
absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So it might have been the segue because hearing people saying that, and then finally somebody gives me, and I'm like, you know what, I got to try this. People are saying it's different now. Get it, and yeah. So it was a combination of both.
Okay. Okay. What was your first thoughts when you played something besides Strat? And by the way, I didn't realize it was only a year ago. I really thought this was 2 or 3 or maybe 5
No.
years ago. So this was a year ago now that you did this.
Season
What
ticket might have been a little more, but really, I saw it, but play really launched me.
what can you remember about your first thoughts? Okay, so you're rolling Strat, you know it inside and out, the baseball, the hockey, whatever you're playing, you know what's going on with that. Then all of a sudden you play a completely different
Mhm.
game. What was going through your mind at that time?
So being a Strat hockey player, and I know you've played the game, and probably a lot of people here. What I found as a hockey fan, okay, what I found when I played Hockey Blast Express was it was different. It was something different. Um, it's almost a highlights game where in Strat you're almost like the coach. Yeah, okay, left wing's going to take the shot here. Is he going to go inside outside? This just kind of it flowed. It was different. Not that it was better. Not that Strat's better. Because I just don't believe that anymore. I hear people say that. I think it's what you're looking for out of a game. And games are different. History Maker Baseball is different than Strat Baseball. But sometimes I'm looking for that narrative type of play. Sometimes I just want to sit down and roll a regular Strat-o-Matic game and just get through it. So yeah, I think it's what you're looking for to get out of a game. Every game has its own identity, and they're good. It's good things. It's good things, and that's what I felt when I rolled that first game. I said, "Wow, this is different, and it's great. It's great. It gives me a different. It's giving me that different taste.
Did it make you want to go and search out more games?
Absolutely. So from there, I started playing Clay's game more. Okay, so those were the first two. And then I was like, Joe, you're a hockey guy. And if you like this Express, and everybody kept saying to me, if you like this Express, you're going to love Hockey Blast. And I said, you know what? Let me just order the Hockey Blast. And the rest is history with hockey. That's probably become one of my top favorite games to play hockey. But then again, I love 49 Quick Decks. I
Yeah.
tried that out. It offers different things. To me, it's when I sit down, what am I looking for to get in the game today? Do I want to do the 49 Quick Decks and get intricate? Do I want to do an Express game because I just maybe want to play a couple of games? But I love what each developer offers in their games.
I'm the same way. I'll come downstairs and just have a blank table here. It's okay. What do I want to play today? Do I want to play something different? Do I want to go back to the same old, same old? And it depends the kind of mood I'm in. It really does. The kind of mood I'm in determines what I'm going to play. I had a little different way of coming to Hockey Blast. Actually, is because I picked it up being a hockey game almost immediately when I found out about it, and I had a hard time with it. I
Mhm.
really because it was very different than Strat and Appa and
Yes,
Hockey
yes.
Bones. It was and any other hockey game I played, and I had a hard time with the momentum and a few. I don't know what it was. What it was. I think Joe. I think I bought a ton of games at once because I'm fairly new to this. So I was buying a game every week, trying to learn new games, and I think
At
I
the
had
same time.
too much going on at the
Yes.
same time, and so this ain't for me. Then I go on to the next game. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe. And I was blasting through games, and so
Hmm.
when I went back a second time to Hockey
Yes.
Blast, I enjoyed it more. And it wasn't until I got the Hockey Blast Express is how it went with me. Is I ordered the Hockey Blast Express. It's like, okay, I mean, Hockey Blast is okay. It's not my favorite game. I don't play it that much, but maybe the Express will be good. And I started playing the Express, and for some reason, that got me wanting to play the full game.
Yeah, I can see
And for
that.
some reason, when I went back to the full game after playing Express, it made more sense.
Hmm.
I don't know why, But I had tried Hockey Blast a couple of times. I had fought with it. I've wrestled with it. There was even one funny video I think I did where I think it was the opening face-off. I got a rare play and somebody had a broken chin strap, and I'm just, this is not what I wanted a hockey game.
It's just 12. That's
yeah, I was just rolling poorly, and I was like, man, this doesn't feel like hockey. And so I kept putting it away. But after I played the Express, I says, let me go back to the full game. And then it all just connected. It did. Everything worked. The momentum worked, the cheap shots, all the stuff that I really wasn't enjoying about the game the first couple times around. It worked. It finally worked.
A different light.
But it took the Express to kind of shine that light. Yeah.
And that's why maybe because I did it the opposite way. I did the Express first. So maybe that's why I hooked right up to it. The only problem I had when I first started the full play Hockey Blast was the penalties, because I had the Strat in my head with the penalties. You got to get that for years and bring. So what I did was I said, I'm not going to play penalties for like 3 games until I get the flow.
Yeah.
And then finally, and just now the game is, look, you just said you got a rare play on a face-off. I told you that was a 12. That's what happens.
But it is, you were talking about, learning the games. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes when you start a new game, again, you can probably go back to Strat and play it in your sleep because you've been playing it so much. But when you got a new game, or like now you're playing all these different games, sometimes you do have to play it simple. Like, I remember Ron always telling me, when I was learning app, I was like, put one line on the table and don't change lines. Just get the game moving. Start off simple. Maybe you don't even do penalties, like you said. Just get the mechanics going. And then after you get the mechanics going and you're comfortable with, what's happening, then you can start bringing in things. I've even done that with some of the football games. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Anytime I have a new game, just start off simple. I think, Barbara's in the chat with us here, and she was learning the 49 Quick Decks Hockey, which I think was one of the first cards and dice games she's ever played. So imagine that. Imagine your first game being something like that.
Quick Decks. That's pretty good that she got that.
Yeah, and it's not a difficult game, but when you're coming in cold, it's. And so we started off, and I said, we're not going to worry about some of the things here. We're just going to get you used to this. And so we just did one thing at a time. We flipped the card. We did a few things. We flipped the card. We did a few, and we played it real basic. And then said, okay, now let's start adding in this. And then we added in that. And then now let's start adding in this. And then, next thing I know, I didn't hear from her for a couple of days. I'm like, oh, she probably gave up on the game. And then she's like, no, I played like 15 games. And so we started off real simple. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You gotta just start simple, get the game moving. And if you can get it moving and get an idea, because every game, like I said, every game is different. The system is different. The engine is different. You just want to make sure that you get that engine in your mind. You're trying to figure, okay, what is this game trying to do? And then you can worry about all the extra stuff. And I think that's the smart way to do it, is just take it easy. Don't worry about penalties and line changes or whatever it is with football. Just leave those guys on the field and play that, or whatever game it is. Just take your time and learn it like that.
I did that with the ST's Matchup College Football. It's a great game. It's an intricate game. And I did that. There were certain things the first time I said, you know what, I'm just not going to do that. I saw them in the rules. Then the second time I added it, and now I just love the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find when you're playing a new game, okay, whatever the game is, and you seem to be trying a lot of different games now, do you find that there's, do you like the challenge of learning a new game?
I do. I do like the challenge of learning a new game. What I do is sometimes there's a fine line between challenge and frustration.
Yes.
So what I do is if I feel I'm getting frustrated, I walk away from the game. I think also what we do, okay, I'm retired now. So when I was working, you only had so many hours a night maybe. So you try to rush through, I want to get this game down. I don't do that no more. You know what? If I play a half, and I'm going to probably get in trouble for saying this from my fellow Strat guys. I'm playing APA now. I'm learning APA. Don't tell my Strat guys. And that's what I'm doing. If I play a quarter and I feel like overwhelmed, but I found doing that now, the third time I played, I got to 3/4 with no problem.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line, but I do like the challenge of learning.
Do you ever find that because you played Strat for so long and that's the system you learned, and now you're learning other games, and while there is a challenge they're learning other games, and I like that too. I like when I get a game, and again, I've never played a game perfect. But
No,
when you get the
none of
game,
us have. I don't
yeah,
care
when
what
you
you
get the
say.
game moving and you get 90% of it down and you're having fun with it, is there some satisfaction to it? Do you feel like you've conquered the game when you learn it?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. I kind of felt that with Apple football, and because I was having a hard time. I was just getting stuck, and then the last time I played, I felt like I almost conquered it. Now I felt like now next time I play, I'm gonna even do that much better. So yeah, there is a satisfaction when you conquer a game if it's a good game.
yeah, yeah,
Especially when it's a good game.
yeah. Yeah. Do you ever get tripped up when you're learning a new game because you maybe have the strat way stuck in your head because that's what you played so long?
Happened to me with Hockey Blast. That's like I said, with the penalties. I could not grasp the penalties because I had the Strat hockey, been playing it since 1987, and I had that in my head, and that's why I said, okay, I just got to play a few games without the penalties, and then started to add them in, and it clicked. But
Yeah.
yes, I think a lot of longtime players, be it of the two granddaddies, I call them Apper and Strat. I think a lot of longtime players find that challenge too. They sometimes can't get that system out of their head.
Um, is there any prejudice towards new games because you've played Strat so long and it's probably your favorite game? Do you ever feel any animosity towards a new game because, or
Oh,
because you just said that don't tell my friends I'm playing Appa.
well, no, that's because you
And,
get I have guys that had to come to my club. They're strictly Strat-o-Matic baseball players their whole lives. They won't even try anything else. They're the guys I'm eating the cheeseburger every time I go out. And I tease them, and they'll say to me, Joe, why don't you play super advanced? I play it if I'm sitting down with somebody who knows it. But I tell them, I say, I play so many games. I can't if I just played Strat like you, I do super advanced all the time.
yeah.
But no, but the meaning is like, because we know from some of the boards and stuff like and Stratton Abbott. I'm not pinning anybody, but you get frowned upon sometimes when you switch to another company by somebody's old, real hardline old timers.
Yeah. So how is that going? Knowing that you're running the the Staten Island Club, and there's a lot of Strat being played, and maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
getting some guff from people who think you might be a traitor, or
Hey, then
how's that?
listen. What I did when I started, I didn't. So Stratomatic, it was like kind of an accident. Stratomatic saw me posting pictures, and they got in touch with me, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to list you on the site, for the clubs." But I wanted to keep it the Staten Island sport. I didn't want to make it Stratomatic. I don't wasn't want to make it APA. I wanted to keep it open. And yes, the foundation was Stratomatic. But I've now since held nights, a play games night, History Maker Golf. You know what? And if my Strat guys don't want to play, I got guys that want to
Yeah.
play History Maker Golf. So I'll do a different night. And sometimes I'm meeting 3 times a month now, but I'm doing a different introducing. I did a History Maker Baseball one morning with a couple of guys who were off from work, and we did History Maker Baseball. So I like to keep it open to introduce. But what I am seeing, getting back to your question, is some of the Strat loyalists are starting to ask me questions. Hey, I saw you posted. You play that game really good, and it's like just come in and try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So that's starting to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think this is that's the bad thing at all. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
Strat could still be your favorite game, but it doesn't. Like I say, it doesn't mean you can't have something besides the cheeseburger.
I agree.
You can't try something different. And has there anybody, without mentioning names, has there been anybody that's tried something that you've showed them and said, "Wow, this is great"? And has there been someone that says, "No, I hate it because it's not Strat"?
Had both.
You had both.
I had a good friend of mine. I think you saw he passed away today.
I saw that.
Yeah, he was a Strat guy, and I introduced him to season ticket baseball, and he loved it. He loved it. And we met a couple of times after that just to play season ticket. I've had guys, History Maker Strat players, History Maker Golf. They're like, wow. I said, just try, if you get, you leave if you don't want to. Wow. And then I had one or two guys that just won't try anything. And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. This is what they want. I'm not telling them, no, now you can't come to my club meets. I'm not going to do that. This is what you enjoy. That's great. Just don't knock the other guy. That's my thing.
The people that have been receptive to trying new games, were they surprised at how much fun it was playing a different game?
Yes. Yes, they were. I'm trying to think of a good example. Oh, I did a hockey express, a day of like express games. Because to do full play, we meet up like on a Sunday morning. That could take, a full day. So I did 49 highlights. I did a day with that, with a shootout and Hockey Blast Express. And one of the guys who loves baseball, just loves baseball, loves Strat. He fell in love with Hockey Blast Express and shootout. Loved it. Loved it. He's like, wow, I didn't realize how much fun it is to play hockey. So yes, to answer your question.
Okay. Phil, a good buddy Phil here brought up a good point. He says, I learn games better in group setting because I'm an extremely slow learner. Do you think playing head-to-head or in a group setting, do you think that really can help you learn a new game?
I do. And to Phil's point, we do it. Phil and I, we've sat down with Ryan Strauss, Appa Hockey, okay? Both him and I were trying to learn it. Ryan Strauss is, I call him the Appa King. We got together, the three of us, and he sat there like a coach, and I played Phil, and I picked up a lot doing that. So yeah, we like to do that once in a while. I think you can learn head to head if you have someone who knows what they're doing.
I think if that is probably the best way is to sit and watch somebody play in front of you. I pick up so many games like that. ST sat with me and he played his matchup college football. And he's so ST starts explaining it to me, right? And I'm like, no. I says, ST, just play. I want to watch you play. Don't explain anything. I'll ask questions when I need to. So he would roll the dice and pull the card and look here and then after 3 or 4 plays, without even asking questions, I started to get the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could say, does that mean this? Yes. Does that mean that? Does that mean this? And just watching somebody play, I think, is the best way to learn a new game. In bank shot basketball, we were in Connecticut. One of the last things I did as we were cleaning up in Connecticut, there was somebody there playing the bank shot basketball, and he showed me and Dave Little how to play it. And I just watched him, and he was rolling dice and flipping cards, and it's like, wow, just watching him, I says, this is easy, watching him play. So when I come home, it's like I read the directions, but I kind of already knew how to play it.
Right. I agree with that.
Just because
Absolutely.
I watched him play it. And there's a lot of games like that. And I try to do that too. I played, I think I played Hockey Bones with Vinny in Connecticut. And then I played, what was that other hockey game? The Stone Cold Hockey with somebody. So I was playing a few games with people, and I was going real slow, showing them how to play it. And I think that I really did help them play it just because they saw someone playing it. They could ask the questions. They could see how the game was working. They could see what I was looking at. When I was playing Hockey Bones, okay, it's a 1-5, 1-5. This is what it is. This is the play. This is where the puck goes. Roll the dice. Okay, it's a 2-3, 2-3. This is what it is. And they're like, oh.
But to read that and not see it, it might have been that much more complicated.
Yeah, but to have somebody doing it right in front of you and pointing out what they're doing, I find that that's the best thing about the meetups is learning how to do things. I sat with Jeff last year in Ohio. I went last year to the football event in Ohio, and I had an old set of Apple football cards, and I says, I don't know what I'm going to do with them because I says, I like the new game better. But we sat down and went over the old cards and the old charts, and I was like, wow, it does a couple things different than the newer cards. And I was like, wow, this might be kind of fun to go and play. And I didn't realize it. But when he pointed it out to me, he's like, yep. So I kept the old cards, just one season of them. And that might be something I might go and do because he showed me how to do it. I wouldn't have picked up on that. I really wouldn't have picked up on that.
That's what happened to me with Shootout. And you were prompting me knowing what a hockey fan I am. For a year, I had it sitting in my drawer. I tried it once, like getting back to what you said earlier,
Yep.
and I just put it away. And you would tell me. And then
Ray.
who was it? Raymond.
Yep.
Ray actually played somebody in front of me, and I was like, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the first ones I learned, and I still think that's one of my favorite hockey games. It's a quicker game.
It's a fun game.
It's so well thought out. It's just fun. It's nice and simple. Ron McGrath says, Joe got me too to play Strat hockey. He was intimidated at first, but now he likes it. So that's good to know. And he says that you are a fantastic person. He's proud to call you a friend.
I'm proud to have him as a friend too, fellow gamer. We never met, and I'm getting him to come to Digital to Dice next year. I don't want to know nothing.
Nice. Let me see here. Another question here. When you go back now to playing Strat-o-Matic, hockey, baseball, whatever it is, what are your thoughts on that now? How do you feel when you go back to a game you played for so many years, but then you've played all these other games, and so you go back to Strat? What's that like?
That's a great question, because this past Monday night we had a meetup and we played Strat Baseball was the theme, and the theme was teams that finished 500 or worse in a season. And I probably played about 4 games, and it felt good. It felt good to play Strat Baseball again. You know, you did a show, I remember about a year ago with Ron about the old girlfriend. And that's really, it's almost, she was okay. You know, I missed her in a way, but no, that's a joke. No, it feels great. It feels great. And I'm actually itching to pull out Strat hockey because I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah. That might be a feeling that if you've only played the one game, and again, not knocking that, if that's what you want to play, whatever it is, there's no knocking that. But if you were to play different games, and we talk about shootout hockey, because that's one of my favorite games, and I haven't played that in a little while, but I do like shootout hockey. When I pull that out and play that, and now that you've played different games, and you can go back to Strat, do you ever get this like, oh man, I missed this game?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just like, not that I regret playing any of the other games, but it's just you come back to this game, it's like, this is why I played so many hours of this game. It is fun.
It happened to me with Strat about a month ago. I think it was right before we went down to Canton. And the reason I pulled it out was, I don't know if you see, Victor Wenzel had made the line change trades.
Oh, yes.
And he asked me to test them. So I was like, and they work great. That's another, probably for another episode. But besides that, I said, wow, did I miss this game? Wow, did I really miss this game? Because it's different. It's different than the other game. And it offers things I like that the other games offer something else I like. But yes, I did. When I did that, I was like, I really missed this game. And that's why I'm itching to get it out again.
And that's the fun thing about playing more than one game, is that, I'll come down. And for me, Appa Hockey and Hockey Bones, they're nearly identical games.
Okay.
The way that they play are very similar, not exact, but they're very similar. Whereas you roll the dice, you look at the card, and you get either a number or a result. And
I saw that in Canton in the hotel. We played both. Somebody showed me both, and I could see they were very similar.
Very similar games. Again, there's subtle differences. But what I like about it is there's some things that Appa Hockey does that I'm in the mood for that night. I'm going to play a hockey game, and I'm going to put cards on the table. Am I going to play Appa or Hockey Bones? And there's some things that Appa just, I feel, for me personally, does better than Hockey Bones. And that's right. And that's why I would play Appa that night. There's some things that Hockey Bones absolutely does better than Appa. And sometimes I'm in the mood for that particular night. And that'll make the table. And, neither one of them is the best, because they both do something a little bit different. And I don't...
You enjoy from both.
Yeah. And lacking's not the right word, but this, like I said, the things that Appa does that Hockey Bones doesn't, sometimes I'm in the mood for that, because it's like, I really want to play this. And then sometimes Hockey Bones, again, does something that Appa doesn't do. And it's like, I'm really in the mood for this. And that's the fun thing about it now, is that when you start playing new games, even if they're similar, you get little nuances about it.
Agreed.
You know,
I get
and
that with the baseball. Sometime like I might have said it earlier, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. You know what? Like I might be enjoying playing season ticket baseball, and then I'll look on my shelf and say, you know what? I want to get this from a game today. Let me pull History Maker Baseball. I
yeah,
want that little narrative. So
yeah,
you're right. And it doesn't make one better than the other. It's what you want out of your games.
mm,
That's what I think.
yeah. Stone Cold Hockey and Shootout Hockey; those are very similar games too. But they both do very different things at times. And as similar as they are, they both do very different things. And sometimes you want more of the narrative that Stone Cold Hockey gives you, and
Do they
that's
give a
fun.
narrative, Stone Cold? You're
They
going to
have
make
a
me order it
narrative.
now, right?
Yeah, it'll be, it'll be, is the offense, are they rated 7? Then this guy's gonna get a backhand shot, or it's a
Oh,
2-on-1.
wow. Now
Yeah,
you're going to make
so,
me order the game.
so you get a little bit of narrative there. And what's really fun is you have this. It's not called momentum. It's stamina, I think it's called.
Okay. Oh,
So you
yes.
have,
Where you reduce your stamina because I saw it played. I think I saw it
yeah.
played at Digital to Dice
Oh, maybe, yeah,
convention.
yeah.
Yeah.
The stamina it's one of these things. If you get a power play, you also take a stamina hit, because that means that
Ah,
someone did something to your guy to cause a penalty. So you get the power play, but you
wow.
also, your stamina comes down. And at different times during the game, you might get a roll that says the high stamina team gets
Very
X,
interesting.
or if you have the puck and you have a high stamina, you get the shot on net. Otherwise, it's a turnover or whatever. So from time to time, you might get the power play, and maybe you score. That's great for you. But if you don't score in that power play and you take the stamina hit,
Now you're
you
in
know,
trouble.
yeah,
You don't have the momentum. You could lose
yeah.
the momentum, right?
I remember Ron and I played it was that 74-75 season, and they sent us over a couple of teams, and I need these 4 or 5 teams to test this properly. And so they sent over, I think it was the Sabres and the Flyers from 74-75. By the time we got done that game, I think it was a 1-0 game, and the Flyers had taken a ton of penalties. It was still 1-0, and by the end of the game, Buffalo had 0 stamina. They
Wow.
went
They
from
couldn't
10 to
score.
0.
Right. They couldn't
So
score.
so it's just they could score, but just any stamina check they automatically lost, and so that took away scoring chances, and it gave Philadelphia scoring chances. But the way that game played, and Ron put it the best. He goes, you could feel the Flyers just grinding the Sabres down with that mid-70s style that they had. And so when Buffalo had 0 stamina, they were just a depleted team,
Completed.
and
Sure. That
and
sounds interesting. I'm
so
gonna have to look into this now.
it was just something else that, like I say, it's almost like the momentum in Hockey
Hmm.
Blast. Which team has the momentum? Well, which team has the most stamina is kind of how that
Okay.
went. So, and so that was fun there. But again, that does a little bit different than the shootout hockey, and I like them both for different reasons. I really
Right.
do, really do. Let's talk a little bit about the 49 quick decks hockey and the 49 highlight hockey. Okay, the games from Grant.
Sure.
Uh, I know you started playing the quick decks hockey first, which is the full
Full.
version of the game.
Yes.
Okay, it's the 2020 cards, and then I think it was me and Vinny convinced you to try the
Yes.
highlight hockey, which is I think it's about the half-hour version. I think the quick
Yeah.
decks is like an
Yeah.
hour and 15 or whatever like that.
Yeah. That's about right.
So what are your thoughts on full play games versus the I don't even know if that would be considered express game, but a highlight
Yeah,
game.
I would. Yes, I would say it's an express highlight. Yeah, it's a little more than an express because an express you can knock out in 15 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, I would say so. It is a highlight, and that's what it is. What are my thoughts? I love them both. So what I did was after you and Vinny convinced me to get the highlights version. I don't know if you remember this. So I did like a little playoff. I did a little playoffs. I think it was with 66, 67 season. And what I did with the highlights right before was it a playoff? Yeah, I did a little tournament. That's what it was. And I used the highlights and for the playoffs. That's what it is, the semifinals. I used the highlights, and then when it went to the cup, I went to the full play version. So I enjoy them both. They both definitely complement one another. Grant Fines did just an incredible job. And I always tell, like, when people ask me about 49 quick decks, I tell them, if you're a casual hockey fan, try the highlights first.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like the highlights, then you might like the 49. But if you're like intricacy in hockey, definitely the quick decks version.
Yeah. I found that when someone asked me about that, I says the highlight version, it's about 30 minutes to play a game. And I'm a slow player. So 30 minutes. And there's a lot of scoring chances because, again, you're only getting – it's highlights. You're checking the highlights. Right. Yeah, you're checking little highlights of the game. And sometimes there's only 5 cards in a period. So, I mean, you really got to, cram as much highlights in as possible. I describe the highlight version as fast and fun. It just is fun. It's fast.
Perfect, yes.
And I remember when I first started playing it, my scores were through the roof. Because it was,
I remember that,
and I'm thinking I must have been playing it wrong because after I played 5 or 6 games, my scores come back to where they should be. But I remember going, Grant, I don't know about this. I'm getting a lot of 8, 9, 10 goal games, and I'm liking the game, but the scores are out of whack. He's just like, I've been playing this, Dave. My scores are fine, and so I'm thinking either I was playing it right, which I could have been because it's a very different game, even for me at the time. But eventually it started working out fine, and the scores were right on, and I'm enjoying that. So the highlights it's fast and fun, and the quick decks, it's a longer game because you're flipping 20 cards a period. There's a lot more happening. I find that to be very intense.
It's very perfect. Yes. Intricate and intense.
The highlight one,
you could turnovers. You could get 3, 4 turnovers on one card in one play, and that's hockey. That's how hockey is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's very intense.
I find that it's. I enjoy it because it's intense, but this is one of the few games I got to say, and again, never question Grant, is that. The quick decks, which is the full game, is going to take me an hour and 15 minutes to play, which is it's very intense, and I enjoy it very much. When I play the highlight version, which is the quicker one for about a half hour, I really don't feel like I'm missing out on too much. Obviously, you are because you don't see every shot and every save and every penalty and the whole bit. But that's one of the games I can play a game of highlight hockey and feel pretty satisfied.
I agree. You, like you said, you are missing stuff, but you still feel like you played you watched the highlights on ESPN, and you got everything needed. From that game.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. But there's times that I want to go with the full game. I want to put the quick decks in, which is the full game, and I want to see every shot. And every save and every rebound, and can this team clear this away? And you get everything in a hockey game on that the full game, and it's pretty amazing that he was able to kind of fine tune that down for the highlight version. And I remember when I was in Colorado, I actually sat with him and we talked, and he's just like one of the nicest guys. You just talk to him. He's just so pleasant to talk to.
I never met him, but we speak through emails sometimes, and he just seems like a genuine, sincere guy.
I talked to him one day over here on the video, just me and him talking about his football and his hockey game. And then when I finally sat and met him, and he took like all the time I needed. I was playing his hockey game. So when he was showing me the 49 quick decks hockey, I was playing it, and I was getting up to speed, and I was still learning like all the pegs and stuff, but I was like, okay, this is not as bad as I thought. And I'm playing along. And he's like, yeah, it sounds like you got the hang of it. It's like, yeah, okay, show me the full version now. He goes, that was the full version. I thought I was playing the highlight, thinking that, man, okay, I'm getting through this okay, but man, what's the full version going to be? No, I was playing the full version.
Hey, you helped me my first time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I was struggling a little bit, and you said,
it's different. It's
and
different.
You made it, boom, it clicked for me.
Yep.
It's different. Yes.
It's I was second guessing a lot of things because it's a lot of if this, then that type of things on the card. So if this guy's rated 10, then this, if he's not, then this. And sometimes you'd look at it and say, well, he's not this, but if he's a 9, what do I do? And I was overthinking that. But then the
Overthink it.
more I
Yep.
played, it just made so
It
much sense.
works. It
Yeah,
works. You
yeah.
you go on the track. Your F9
Oh,
guy.
I
It
love that.
works. It's
I love the
amazing.
track. I love the track. What I love about the full game is when you get to 2-on-1,
Yeah.
and you got to
Yes.
go to the track to see who's on the
Who's on the two
2-on-1,
on one, and
and
then you got to
then
go to the
see
card.
who's back on defense too,
Yes.
because
Yes.
it depends who's back on D and his stats, whether he can maybe make a play.
It's brilliant. It really is a brilliant game.
Yeah, and so that's one of these things. Like I say, if you just stuck with the strat, you never would have got to
Exactly.
experience the 49
You have
hockey.
to be open minded. Again, it was like I said, it was different. You didn't get into this really that long ago. You're still young in the gaming industry, cards and dice. But back, when in the mid '80s, it was APA and Strat. That's all you
Mm,
know. And
yeah,
so, but now, like I said, yeah, there were games that popped up, and you were like, "Oh my God, this
yeah,
is
yeah,
doesn't." But now, it's every to me, every other game out there is just brilliant.
yeah. It's really it's fun to see where we are.
Yes,
Gus also says, he goes, has anyone bought the 49 Quick Text Hockey? Gonna go to upgrade version 2? Oh
I
yes,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, I did. I ordered it this morning. Yesterday or this morning, I ordered it as soon as he announced it.
Yeah, I think Vinny bought it, and I'm getting it too. I already talked to Grant about it, and says and maybe I'll need to get him on and do a video. He's going to try to do some videos of himself. He's already done videos, of course, but
Yeah.
he's working on some things. I said, yeah, perfect, that'd be great. Let's see here. Of course, our friend from Vancouver chimes in, so if we're talking hockey, he's going to be pretty happy about that. Question from Otis. Otis asks, "Is Downey's Final Score hockey the quickest hockey game you guys know?" I would say yes. I would say yes. Off the top of my head, of all the games that I play, the hockey, yeah, you can roll a game in a minute.
Yeah.
And also shootout has
They have that easy shootout.
yeah, they have shootout EZ, which is
Yeah.
that takes about a minute too to roll a game, because you just need to both games you need to calculate your final number, let's say your final
Right.
letter. So if it's Montreal and Boston, and Montreal's an A offense and Boston's a D defense, and you combine that and you get, let's just say it's a B, factor in the
Populates
home
a score.
ice. Yeah, then you bump it up to C, let's say. So then you roll the dice on C. So it's just there's a few seconds of calculation with the Downey Final Score to get your final result. Then you roll off the chart. And that's about it.
Clay did that with his football game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a few
Season
things like
ticket
that.
football. He made it like a quick.
Yeah, yeah. I actually played a little bit of that. That was kind of fun. And so season ticket, if you're playing football, they have a quick version. Solitaire Pro, obviously, what I talked about earlier, they have their quick version of just rolling for final scores. I do like the ultra quick football. I think it is from Downey. I think I bought like the 50-year set one Black Friday or Easter, so I got like all the seasons there. And again, it's just offense and defensive ratings with a home field advantage, and you just do some quick math with letters, which is still screws me up once in a while. Adding and subtracting letters is really weird.
Now, speaking about express or highlight and quick, if Grant's listening, we need a highlights football. We need a highlights football, Grant.
Yeah, but I think he's working on that. I think he said that's going to be like a drive-by-drive thing.
Okay.
And I would always, I think I asked him that in Colorado. I says, do you think it's possible to do a football game that's not full play, but it's not drive by drive, but it's almost like chunks of time?
So
I don't know if that's even possible.
Drive time. John Turnbull's drive time football is kind of like what you're saying. It's chunks in every quarter. And it's not a drive by drive. So that's probably more on the level of what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think if the second season Express, that is kind of like that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's a chunk of a drive. It's not it's a chunk of a drive. Yeah, I actually enjoy playing that game.
Yeah, I just don't know if it'd be possible to make a highlight football game again, because it really is kind of based on the drives.
True.
I mean,
That's true.
It's such a different game. When you get hockey and basketball, let's say, like
it's constant action.
Yeah, the regular season basketball, which I really like too, is you roll the dice and you see what happens in those 3 minutes. And,
Mm-hmm.
it tells you how many points a team got, and then it breaks down the points and the assists and the rebounds for that segment. And that's really fun because you're not rolling play by play like bank shot.
Right.
It's okay. Here's 3 minutes. Here's what happens, and here's all your stats, and it's brilliantly done. But again, with hockey, Strat going what 40 seconds for Strat, and App is
Right.
30. Hockey Bones, I think, is 20, and some of the other games are in that 30-second range with every card or every dice roll. So to try to get a game that like Shootout and Stone Cold, those are the ones that are like, okay, you roll the dice. Okay, 4 minutes is gone. We're gonna stop the clock and see what happens at 4 minutes. And
Okay.
that's kind of how highlight games
Right.
work. That's how Shootout works. Um, the Grant's highlight hockey. It's the other brilliant thing about that is you roll the dice and you see how many cards you're flipping for the
Mm-hmm.
game, and I like that. So some games you're going to get more card flips, which is going to be more offense, and some games you're going to get less and for less offense.
You know what I like about his style in both games? If you have nowhere to go on the card, you go to the other card. It's just automatic. The way
Yeah,
he did it. Okay, I got nowhere to go left on this card. Now we got to go to the other card.
yeah,
And that's just once you get that, it really makes the game flow.
yeah. It does. And his football game is fun too. I haven't played that in a
Yeah, I
while,
haven't
and
played it.
in fact, I have the. Somebody gave me a Canadian football set too, the one with Flutie in it. So I need to dig that out and play that. In fact, I told Vinny, I said at some point Vinny's going to have to sit down with me, and whether we play cold snap from play or do we take out Grant's
CFL.
yeah, and play Grant's CFL game, and so he can just kind of walk me through it. Ron and I played a quarter of cold snap last year, I think it was, and we had some fun with it. But the rules are just such. This is so different that
Yes.
it's hard for me to plan strategy around that
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't have a feel for the game. Whereas when I'm playing American football, it's just here's what I'm going to do because I've seen it for so many
Right. You
years.
know it. You're watching it for
Yeah,
so long and you play it.
yeah, yeah. Now the Grant's football game, I had this one memorable game. I was playing 1976, and I was playing Tampa Bay at Minnesota. A game that did not happen in '76, as Tampa
Mm-hmm.
Bay played all the AFC that year. But I said just for fun, I had them play. And Minnesota was struggling, and they were up by 10 or something like that. But you could hear the Minneapolis fans, getting on them because they were not crushing this expansion team. And it's a lot of card flipping, and I flipped a long pass for Tampa Bay, which is, the chance of them completing a long pass against the Vikings was slim to none. And I rolled for the pressure. They couldn't get the pressure. I rolled for the pass. It was a chance to get deflected. I flipped the card. It was not deflected. So here's this, and I think he had like a 10% chance of catching the pass. And the card I flipped, everything on the card was C for completion. And it was probably the only card in the deck that would have completed a
Wow.
pass with that low percentage. Because when I looked in the percentage box of 0 to 10, it was a completed catch, and it was like a 55-yard touchdown pass for the Buccaneers. And I could just picture them in their white jerseys in Minnesota in the cold, and this guy just throws his prayer up, and the guy catches it for a touchdown. And there's the $77 hanging around with the Vikings. It was just, I'll never forget that game. And I tell that story all the time. And I think Minnesota went on to win like 24-7. But you can just picture that play happening. It's just like, long pass. He's under pressure. He gets away. He throws it. Is it deflected? It's not deflected. Does he catch it? Son of a gun. He
And you
catches
feel like
it.
you're watching the game sometimes when
Yes.
the game is so good. I'll tell you, and it happened to me this morning. I put the Legends and Bus set. I bought the Legends and Bus set for Payoff Pitch, and I put two teams together from it, and it was Siva versus Christy Mathewson.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the ninth inning, giving three hits each up, and I felt like I was at the game, at the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
And I did teams like from the 20s and 30s was one team, and then I did the 50s, 60s, and 70s was the second team. That was Siva's team. They score in the top of the inning, 1-0. Goes to the bottom of the inning, 1 out. Siva gets the first guy out, and I feel like I'm at the game.
Yeah.
It's so well done, and to get a man on base, and Babe Ruth steps up, and guess what Babe Ruth does? walk-off home run to win the game. And I'm getting a chill. I was
Yeah.
sitting, I was like, I felt like I was watching Babe Ruth. And when games are made so good, you really could feel like you're a part of it.
I've said from the very beginning, I don't know how they do it. I played a game of Apple football the other day. I was playing 1977 Tampa at Philly, which was basically week one of that season. I was
Okay.
loosely playing that. I think actually the quarterback was hurt for Tampa. That's why they went with this other guy, but I didn't realize that. So I played the original guy, and he had like 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles. This is the quarterback. Tampa Bay had 7 turnovers in this game. It was something
Oh,
else. So I brought in the guy that was technically hurt, but I said, that's my game. I'm going to play him anyway. So I brought him in, and somehow Philly missed 3 field goals, 28-yard field goal. The kicker missed. Milhorn or Mulhern or something like that. Whoever the kicker was for Philadelphia. And somebody I'd never heard of. He just kept missing kicks. Philadelphia's up by, I think they're up by 7. And Tampa Bay's driving. And this is $77, not the $76, the $77. Weren't much better. And Tampa's driving, and they couldn't do anything but penalty on the Eagles. So I would gain 1 yard and then get 15. And this kept happening. On the last drive of the game, there was so many flags, and they all went against the defense. Tampa Bay ended up getting a 1st and goal from the 4 in the final minute to try to tie the game. And I got it to 4th and goal from the 1. I'm picturing, Veteran Stadium in '77 getting all loud. Dick Vermeil trying to get his defense riled up. The winless Buccaneers, trying to, punch it into the end zone. All they need is a yard. And I ran it, and it was a 0. And the Eagles defense held. And it just so cool. Then they ran out the clock or whatever it was. But just that last drive, where it's just like every penalty went against the defense, they would pick up a short gain here, short gain there, got it inside the 5, they got it to the 1, 4th and goal, couldn't punch it in on the Eagles, and that's how the game pretty much ended. And it was so cool. It really was.
And you sit there, like you said, and say, how do these developers do it? They make it so real.
Yeah. Yep. And we all have that game. For me, it's Apple football.
Uh-huh.
That's the game for me that I walk away with the most things to talk about. I mean, every game I play, I have a story, but it just seems like Apple football is the one that I come away from that going, wow, it did it again. Mm-hmm. It just did it again. I really enjoy that. Let's talk a little bit about community replays.
Okay.
Because I know that I'm doing some too. I played a couple games of that 84 baseball. Okay. And I played a couple games of the 70-71 hockey, and I have played a handful of games of the 81-82 hockey that they're playing right now. Because of those community replays, and what's the best thing about them, at least for me speaking, personally, is I don't have to do anything. I can just play the game, and I don't have to worry about keeping the stats, and I don't have to worry about, this guy or that guy, or schedules, or running things. It's like I run enough things in my life that sometimes I just want to kick back and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate the people doing these community replays. Where this all ties in is that I found myself picking up either new games or picking up that 84 season. Yes. Because it's like I had it in Strat, and I originally played some Strat games for the baseball in 84, and I was like, something, I think I have 84 in payoff pitch. So I pulled those in payoff pitch. And then I think I picked it up for APA, and I think I might have it for season ticket too. And so I've been able to play a handful of different game engines for this project. So do you think, like, the community replays, it gives you a chance to play some different games?
Absolutely. So with the community replay, the 84 baseball, I had Strat 84 season, and I did my projects with it a couple of years ago. And I actually traded it away to guess who? Kevin Thomas, who's running the 84 community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny. So I wound up getting it, as you know, in payoff pitch. So I used that. But to your question, I do that with the 81-82 NHL replay. I will do full play Hockey Blast some games. Some games I'll do Hockey Blast Express, because I figured out a system where you can get assists, how to get assists, because you need assists in it. And I do some with red ice hockey.
Yeah.
So yes, I think these community games help you get different games on the table that you have,
Yeah.
different game engines for the same season.
Yeah. And what I think it does too is, like I say, if you're just strictly a strat player and I'm strictly, whatever, app or a payoff pitch player, we both can do the same project here
Yes,
and contribute and have some fun with it. And everybody's kind of, pitching in.
it's funny you say that because I got two guys that are in my club who the big strict strat guys. They're playing in the community, the 84 community. I
Yeah.
got them in there.
Yeah.
I said, hey, you can play, what do you play? I said, I'm playing payoff pitch, but you can use your strat. Oh,
Yeah.
great. So yes, you're
Yeah.
100% right about that.
I do like that. All right, here's another question for you here. All righty. Let me just make my notes in case I get interrupted and I forget. All right. How important to you, this is just a personal question, how important to you is having everybody carded?
I would say if I'm going to do like a community or okay, it's a great question. I'm going to digress a little bit. When I set out to do the 55 and National League season replay, I have the strat season, the 55 season for years. I started out to do it that way. Not every guy was carded. I said, I'm not doing a replay like this. So I wound up going to Clay and I bought the season ticket. So to me, when you're trying to do a real replay of sorts, it's very important. That's why I love the payoff pitch too.
Yeah.
Everything's carded. Yeah, so it's very important to me.
Yeah.
When you're doing a legit
for
replay.
me, if I have a choice between two games and one has everyone carded and one doesn't, I'm going to lean towards the game where everybody's carded because, again, I like to play whether it's my one-offs or my replays, whatever it is. I like to have everyone available that should be available.
Yes.
Obviously, if somebody played one game or two games or three games, it's going to wreck things.
No,
it's not going to. But sometimes you get someone that played. What was I doing the other day? I think I was playing Appa hockey, and I had the Atlanta Thrashers, and there was a guy that played 15 or 20 games for the Thrashers that was not carded. And I was like, wow, this is a bummer. So the game I played, I had to find a replacement because he was not carded. And then I looked up, and the Atlanta Thrashers that year, they had like 50 guys, And so at some point when they were carded, they still carded a lot of Thrashers. Right. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of guys in that envelope.
At a certain point,
but at some point, so there was two guys that had played the same amount of games, and one was carded and one wasn't. So that's where the cutoff was. So something like that is kind of a bummer for me.
I'm the same way.
But I understand it. Sometimes you just can't, do that. But if I have my choice, and that's where the Hockey Bones and Apple Hockey comes in. Hockey Bones cards everyone.
Right.
So if I remember I was doing the 92 Bruins replay, and they played Hartford in week 1, and Hartford had a guy that played one game, and it was opening day against the Bruins, and I had him. And I played him in the game, and then I'll never take him out again. But I was able to play him in that game. Now, is it going to wreck my day if he wasn't carded?
No, of course not.
Probably
you're
probably
trying
not.
to be as accurate as you could.
But when I liked even with my Apple football, I like to try to put everybody in the game that was in the game that day, and then I feel like now whatever happens, at least I'm starting out
right.
You know what I mean? So for me,
I do that with So it's funny you said when I use Red Ice Hockey in the replay in the 81-82, what I'll do is I'll put my iPad up and I'll keep that game up there. And if I roll, let's say the Rangers score and Rod Gilbert comes up in a roll, and I look and Rod and Gilbert wasn't playing that day, I re-roll. So I get somebody just to try and keep it accurate for the replay.
Yeah, I like that too. I think shootout hockey does that too. Is they have like some asterisks next to guys that played on a couple teams, and so if you roll and they weren't in that game, just roll again and get a different guy. So yeah, I like like bank shot basketball has everybody too. In fact, Joe, God bless Joe's heart. I think it was the Minnesota Timberwolves. I picked up a new season. I don't usually play new season, but I got the season. Was it 23? The Celtics won the title, so I picked up 23 so I could play the Celtics. Minnesota Timberwolves. I think it was that team there. They had like 40 or 50 guys, and so when you're sorting out the cards, the Celtics are about this big and the Timberwolves, it's like that.
Sometimes, right.
Because I was like, what is going on with all these Minnesota guys? And I looked, and they did, what do they get? 10 or 12 guys that play every game. That's it. And they had such a turnover. And usually it's the bad teams that have the turnover because they get to the end of the season. They just kind of keep bringing guys in or whatever. That's when sometimes the having everybody carded can be a little bit much because you're like, oh, it's like, I don't know, like the 76 Buccaneers, Appa carded so many guys because so many guys were hurt and they brought in so many people, that it's this thick full of.
It doesn't fit in the envelope.
It doesn't. Yeah, it really doesn't. Whereas other teams that had, didn't have that turnover have a smaller stack. But for me, it's a pretty big checkbox for me when I'm checking off boxes. It is not a deal breaker, but it definitely will discourage me or steer me to play a different game at certain times. Is the best way to say that. And I guess the workaround with that, with the 49 highlight hockey, 49 quick text hockey with Grant, is that you get the team cards, but if you get the spreadsheet, you do get everybody that played. And so, like you, I'll go to Hockey Reference and see who's in the game.
Right. I know, and you do a lot of that on your Excel.
Yeah, and I'll do it all in Excel, and I'll get as close as I can because I obviously don't know who played on what line. I mean, there's some teams that you remember, okay, that's what happened, but sometimes it's like, well, I don't know who played with who, so I'm just so as long as they're on the table and in the game. Now, obviously, Phil Esposito's not going to be a third line player. No, obviously, and a guy with, a 50 for a penalty rating is not going to be on the first or second line. So there's some things that you can use some common sense.
And you know what's brilliant about that game too? And I know I'm throwing that word brilliant around a lot tonight, but he gives you the options of the team cards, or you could print the player cards.
Yeah.
You can really make your own lines. I'm tempted to try a game like that. I'm very tempted.
I have not printed out the player cards yet.
But I'm thinking about it.
Because the team card is so fast.
Oh yes,
it really is.
Cross the line, boom.
Yeah, if I had to look at all the individual cards, and it would take so long to play that game.
Right. No,
so I would rather take 15, 20 minutes, half hour in Excel, getting my rosters, printing them out. And then what I could do too is I put my goalies at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I cut and paste the bottom of the page. And then when I flip, I put the penalty units on the back with the goalies in the back too. So no matter where I go, I get the goalies right there. So I almost prefer to print out my own rosters when I play that game, just so I have the goalies handy and I can set up my lineups. And what I'll do is, there was a game, I think it was Chicago beat the Seals like 10-0 or 8-0, whatever it was. And so I put those exact rosters for 1970, I think it was. So I printed them out. So I had Chicago and the Seals, and I like, me, I like to play the blowouts. I don't know why, I just do. And so I'm like, well, if I print it out and spend all that time, it's just for one game. Well, something? I ended up playing that game 4 times.
4 times.
I played it once, and I think I got 8-1. Then I played it again, and I got 7-1. It's like, well, that's pretty close to 10-0. And then I think I played the actual full game with the quick decks. And so I have these teams printed out. It's like, I can go back at any time to play that game again if I want. And I have the lineup for that day. And it's so as far as, that was Grant's smart way of working around carding everybody, because there was I think it was Brad Marchand. He's not on the front line with the Florida Panthers. You have to put them in there for the playoffs. Yes. Yeah. So that's something you can absolutely do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think like with the newer seasons he came out with, I think the goalies are now on the team cards.
Yes, I think he did.
He did that.
Yeah.
Because the early ones I bought, I had to print them separate.
Yeah.
But I think he did that now.
It's the same with the football, too. Some of his early football stuff was a little bit different than his newer seasons. And, he just got better at making them. And he said he's going to go back and kind of fix the old ones and update them to the new setup. But yeah.
Well, he's always open to, to suggestions. That's what's great about him, too. You give him a suggestion, hey, that's a great idea. Or I tried that, it didn't work. But he's very open-minded.
Yeah. But yeah, you're exactly right. Is that the goalies are now on the team cards, which that way you don't have to print out those little
Makes it so
cards.
much easier.
Yeah, so you're not losing the goalie cards or whatever. Let me see. Christopher writes in here in the chat room as we are live tonight. That's why I like games that include rating instructions, or at least make them available as a separate purchase. That way, if a player isn't carded, you could quickly card rate that player. That is yeah, that's a great way of putting there, because you know, a lot of the play games have instructions on how to rate players in a whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that would be a great way to rate some guys that are not carded. And so, yeah, that's a fantastic way to do that. Let me ask you another question here, Joe. We're speaking with Joe Cards, by the way, from the Cards and Dice Sports Board Game Facebook group, and also the Staten Island Cards and Dice Sports Club. He handles the meetups down there in New York. What are your thoughts on team cards games versus individual player card games?
Okay, that's a not a trick question, but I think that's a double answer on that. I think it depends on the game engine. A perfect example, ST's game and Clay Dreslok's game. Okay, season ticket football and matchup college football. I think the team cards are perfect for that game engine. Because if I had to move cards around for those two games, it would take 6 hours to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the way they designed the game, and I think the way a developer designs a game depends. You talk about Apple football. I wouldn't like a team card in Apple football. Okay, I like that individual, going to the receiver, quarterback going to the receiver and having to go to that card and reroll. So I really, I like them both, but I really think it depends on the game engine.
I actually agree with you like 100% on that. And I've said that some games, and maybe it's because we're used to playing them with team cards, or used to playing them with individual cards. Some games, like you said, I like the team cards when I play, my season ticket football or second season or solitaire pro or matchup. The team cards, great. I don't want individual cards. Season ticket baseball, I want individual cards.
Yes.
Apple football, Apple baseball, I want individual cards.
And baseball in general, I think I want individual cards.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I have a couple of games, I don't play much, that are team card driven for baseball.
Really?
And I find I find it kind of hard, like following along on the lines. Like, okay, here's this guy. Okay, what column am I looking at? I find it doesn't flow as well as individual cards.
I think I think, and I could be wrong. I never played it, so I can't criticize it or even critique it. But I think with the difference in baseball and all those the other sports, David Wright is up. Okay, boom, he makes out. Next guy. It's almost like coming to the plate, going to the dugout, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
Where the other games, it's not like that, because 3 guys could be involved in the same play. So the team cards can really work better like that.
Yeah. I was actually, the last time we were on here, Vinny was on, and I was talking to him, and, there's this discussion, friendly mostly, sometimes, about the Apple football game, and that how many, you're really only using the skill cards. You're not using, there's so many cards that are printed and you have that you never use. And that was the argument with that. And we had John on the show one time, and he says, we tried to go to team cards for like linemen and defense, but people wanted the individual cards. Yeah. And I remember Vinny was talking about it the other day, and he said he got some cards in the mail, and he had a card in his hand, and he said it was so cool.
Yes, I remember him saying that. He said the same thing to me. Yeah.
And it's just so, I mean, when you're sitting there and you're looking at the team sheet, and there's Walter Payton. Okay, fine.
My favorite guy. My favorite running back.
But if you're playing the Bears and you got Apple or Strat out and you got the Walter Payton card, it's just, and even like Apple football with the defense, Leroy Selman for the Buccaneers. I got his card in my hand.
It's true.
There's something just magical about that, and it's not cost effective by any means, but it's just,
it brings it to a different level.
It's so much more personal.
Yes.
when you have the player's card in your hand versus him just on a list.
I agree. That's
But
like tonight,
again,
Babe Ruth coming up. I got his card in my hand, and he gets a walk-off home run. You know, on a team card, I don't think it would have felt the same.
Yeah. But it does depend on the game because, again, when I'm playing APA hockey or
I'm saying baseball
or hockey bones, I like the individual cards so I can get right at them and flip them around. But when I'm playing 49 hockey, that team sheet works.
Team sheet is perfect.
So for that game, it's just that's what you want. You don't want the cards. I feel that because I go to the first line. Okay, is anybody a 9? Boom, they're all right there.
All right there.
I'm not looking at the table and going up. It's right to the team sheet, and it's a lot more compact. And those cubes moving up and down for the lines. Oh my gosh, it's genius.
It's so funny when you say the cubes. It makes me think at the Digital to Dice Con. I had no idea about 49 Quick-Tex.
Yeah.
If you remember, somebody, I think it was Joe Costa, had it set up in one of the middle tables, and I had no clue. Yeah. And I'm walking by, and I'm watching a bunch of them around there, and I said to somebody, it's a hockey game. I says, a hockey game with orange cubes and yellow circles?
Yeah.
What kind of hockey game? To myself.
I thought the same thing, yeah.
Here I am. I got 2 sets of those orange circles. And
I was just, and that's why, again, you kind of just can't judge the book by its cover.
No,
you got to give it a shot.
not.
Because I shied away from that because he sent me that a while ago, and I'm like, look, oh man, I go, what is all these cubes and all these things here? And it kind of looks like whatever it is. And again, in Connecticut, he was set, and I missed the setup, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't want to watch the game, I want to watch the setup because this whole thing,
right.
And then Grant did it in Colorado. And I filmed the setup so I could, for myself, actually, I just filmed him setting it up, and then I set it up, and I was like, is that it? I mean,
right.
I go, why was I looking at this like this was, like Indiana Jones trying to go in and get the treasure? I mean, and it was actually fun.
That's what happened with me. So Grant made a YouTube video. Grant has a YouTube video, how to set it up. And I put my iPad up and I would stop it. Okay. So, and I was like, why did I look at this the way I did in Connecticut? Why did I look at it like that?
Yeah.
This was fun setting this up, setting your defense, who's the next defenseman, you're spot on with that.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah, it's a very ingenious system. And, and I tell people that are playing the game, don't let the cubes distract you because all they are doing is they're just indicating the player. Or the line.
They're an identifier. It's an identifier.
And it's a way to identify. So instead of flipping a card or rolling dice or looking at a chart, you slide the cube to the next one. Is it the center? Is it the left wing? Is it the right D? Who's getting the puck? And then you're checking for their qualities or whatever it is. Are they, are they this? Are they an 8 shoot? Are they a pass assist this? And that's all that board is for, is just to kind of randomize and identify different things. And once you get that squared away, it's actually quite fun. It really is.
I'm excited to see. So in the new upgrade, the 2.0 upgrade, there's a new board.
Oh, is there a new board?
Yes, that's what it says. Like I said, if you click on the description, it says a new board, even a new board. So
nice.
What could I can't imagine what it could done.
Yeah. I actually suggested to him, because I had played so much of the game, I suggested, I think it was the highlight hockey is the one that you have the lines. And I said, I've been playing so much of this and I'm used to dragging the forward lines and the defense lines. It says, it'd be great if you had another track. So we could use just different order, because at some point in time, you played enough games, you see how the lines change and you know what's coming up next. It'd be great if there was another one of those.
He did.
And he did. He put one out.
I got one. He sent me one.
Yeah. And so I suggested that. And he goes, something, I can do that. I was the culprit. And he put out one that was like kind of geared towards either the third period or older seasons with only 3 lines.
Or if you jump into full play.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So he come up with it, and so I printed that out, and I've had that here on the channel. I've used it. It's like that's fantastic when someone listens to you, and it's not a unreasonable request. It's just,
I said, he's very open-minded.
It just mix up the order so it's a little. So I can put that in once in a while and just get a different result. Sometimes what I do too is I go backwards.
So do I. I was just about to say that. I do that too. I'll roll a 20-sided dice and I'll go backwards sometimes.
Just to see what it is, In the chat room, Dominic chimes in and says, in my opinion, that's why Strat has it over APA in the football receiving aspect. All receivers in Strat have a different result on their own card instead of just a generic rating of A, B, or C. Yep. But again, that's how some games just play different. And so with APA, that's how the receivers work in, and then you roll off the quarterback card. That's just kind of how it works. Again, you can argue every game that you roll the dice if it's going to be either pitcher or batter. Well, 50% of the time it could be me and you batting, and it won't matter. And 50% of the time it could be me or you pitching, and it don't matter.
Again, Dave, it all comes down to what you're looking to get out of the game you're playing.
Yeah, but you just trust the game, and my results have been very good with most of the games I play. Whether it's whatever game it is, and I don't want to speak for you, but I can imagine that if you played a game that got really bad results, you probably wouldn't play it all that much, right? You'd be like, well, these results make no sense. So
I probably, when I first got into more different gaming, not anymore. I'll give a game 2 or 3 tries sometimes. If the third time it's like ridiculous, then I'll be like, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
I want some listen, no game. I don't want a perfect game. I don't want, if I'm playing September 29th, 1962, and the score was 6-2, I don't want a 6-2 score with the same amount of hits, because that's just robotic to me.
Yeah.
But I want to see if you come close.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be 31-4. You follow what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I actually have a game that I've played that I was like, wow, these results there's a couple of games I play that I've got weird results consistently.
Yeah,
and I still play them because I still will play them because I like them so much, and I just kind of hope that maybe I did some bad rolling, or it was just me, and maybe I played it wrong or something like that.
It's funny that you bring that up. So Vinny, as a generous guy he is, he gifted me the 2000 APA Pro Bowl game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen it or you have it. It's a Pro Bowl game. It's for lack of a better word, it's generic. Okay, you just got a pass chart. It's not all like Apple. And it's actually a fun game.
Really?
But I could see that game not being accurate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because the defense really doesn't play a part in the game. There's no ratings, defense against offense, to get that IO or that ID. But if that was an introduction to APA to me, I'd be like, no, there's no way this APA game is good. Yeah. But it's a good travel game. But you got to take it for what it is.
Yeah, right. David also writes in and says, and the old APA football cards gave you their real names: Charles Edward Mean Joe Green. He goes, who knew Joe Green's real name was Charles Edward? That was one of the things that I did not like about Apple when I first started playing it. I had the hockey and the baseball, was that they had all these nicknames and just, it was all gummed up. And I'm like, oh man, it's like, you could save so much space by not putting all these stupid things in there. But the more I played it, I really now enjoy.
That happened to me with the baseball.
I really enjoy it now, especially the older seasons. Like when I go back into the 1900s, or way back then, and you get like Doc McGillicuddy and Fatty Joe Lumpy, and all these crazy names. I love all those nicknames, and I just play them into my game as part of the storyline. And I don't know any of these players, but anybody every team has a Doc. Every team's got a Doc.
Oh, some of the names from Dead Ball era, the nicknames. I know
they're
you're
great.
Into that. I don't know if you've ordered it. I ordered the Strat, the Dead Ball era, the Diamond Gems.
Okay.
Oh, what a set! What a set! And I think you would like it because I know you love stuff from back then.
Yeah, I have somebody actually sent me 1908 and 1905 APA. He goes, I come into a whole bunch of APA. I forget how it happens. And he goes, can I send you? He goes, I know you like playing the old seasons. So he goes, I'll send you one. And he ended up sending me 2. He sent me 05 and 08. And I still play it. And that's the older cards. And so I just play and have fun. I have no idea on skill and no idea on batting order. It's mostly fictional for me because again, I don't know anybody. But the nicknames is I'll go through. and I'll look at the teams and I'll be like, okay, this guy's got this nickname. I have to play this. I have to play Scooter, or whatever their names are, And some of the names are really
It's true. It's
they're
true.
ancient. They're ancient nicknames you haven't heard in 100 years, and I'll have to play those guys. So at first I did not like how Apple did it, but now I do, and now I'm used to it, and I kind of look forward
It
to
makes
it.
it nostalgic.
It does. It does. And so again, Mike Silva comes by. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for coming by. And Gus says, Joe, have you tried Cold Snap from Play or Grant's CFL game?
That's an interesting question because I was actually thinking of buying a Cold Snap Express to try it, to try the CFL play. That's funny that you come up with that question, Gus, because I'm actually considering buying Cold Snap Express just as an introduction to the CFL.
Like I said, I played the 1/4 of the CFL with Cold Snap, and I have Grant's game. I just have not played the Canadian part yet. I need to pull that out. I want to pull out Grant's game again. Grant's football game is the thinking man's game.
Yeah.
It's not a game that you're going to sit down and in 5 or 10 minutes have it all figured out. It's deep. There's a lot going on. There's 2 different kind of pressure rolls.
Wow.
One is a quarterback check and the other is a defensive check. So there's all kinds of things happening. It's a lot of fast action card flipping and seeing what the play is. I mean, the defense, as I mentioned before, they can bat away a pass. So if you flip and it says there's a certain letter that'll say whatever P or whatever, that means you flip to see if the pass is batted away by the defense.
Wow.
So there's a lot going on. For some reason, it just clicked with me that I had no issues at all learning the game. I did not get stuck. I had to keep trying to remember how to do things. So it was, like I said, the 2 different ways to check pressure was very different. And the scrambling and a few other things. So there was a lot of different things in that game, and you had to think. You really had to focus. You couldn't really be talking to anybody,
No.
and that's what he said he went for. When I heard him interviewed by somebody, he says that I wanted to create a thinking man's game because he says as we get older, we need to use our brains.
Yes.
Joe,
gaming helps out.
Joe, I was able to figure out how to play the game mostly. I couldn't even dream about designing a game like that.
No.
I mean, he's trying to challenge you, and then he makes this game that's like, how do you even make a game like this that works and it still challenges you? It's just not it's not a simple game.
That's what when I started playing matchup college football. Okay, I'm a big Florida Gators guy. So when ST released that Florida set, like I was all over it before it even hit Lulu. But and I'm a big Gators guy and a big Tebow. I've always been a big Tebow fan. And so I'm playing the 2008 Gators, and ST says to me when we were in Canton, he goes, "Did you look at the back of the card?" And I says, "I did kind of on the team card for the rare plays. There's a rare play roll, and this to me tells me how brilliant, like you said, how do you come up with this? I would never think of it, but I know Tebow was this kind of guy. It says if the Gators lose this game, the next game Tebow goes into the locker room and he gives them such a big rah-rah and pumps them up, and they come out with two extra PowerPoints. Like I would never think of something, and I could see, and that's what he did. Tebow, he did stuff like that. So that, like you said, to what you said, how brilliant they are to develop it. You and I look and say, "Yeah, we play this. How did you think of this?"
Yeah. He took a lot of time in going over the rare plays. And
he visits colleges to get stats. That's dedication. That's wanting to put out a great product.
Yeah, he did a good job with that. That's for sure. Gus says if you play some CFL, you might take the 6-hour drive down to Staten Island and play with you guys. So you never know.
You never know. And you know what? You know what you do, Gus? I make a deal with you. Dave does Digital to Dice Con 2026. You meet me halfway in Connecticut, and we'll play a game.
Nice. Yep. I should bring that next year. Is some CFL stuff and try to learn that. I brought so many games to Digital Dice Con. I probably bought 30 different games, and
You
I
had
think
carts.
I had a whole suitcase filled with stuff. 2 suitcases filled with stuff. It took me 45 minutes to pack up my truck, and then I took more stuff home too. I was like, holy cow! So
Yes.
my truck was packed with stuff coming home there, and so
That
I
was
got
so that was my first con. So I packed a whole
yeah.
suitcase full of
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what somebody wanted to
Truthfully,
play.
I only took out one game out of all the games because there was so much there,
Yeah.
and I wanted to
Yeah.
see new stuff. The only game I took out was Hockey Blast Express because James Cast and I were part of that
Yeah.
71, and we decided to play a game head to head.
Nice.
But that was the only. But my point is, there was so much good stuff at that. So
I
much.
was
I said,
worried.
I play this game all the time. I want to learn this new
Yeah.
game.
I
And the
was
night
worried.
we played that non-sports game, with the bomb.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Oh, Fuse.
That
Oh my
was
gosh,
so
that was
much
great. Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. There was so many different games. I think I played that the most. Fuse, and then the race car game I played too.
Yeah.
Hugging the
Guys,
rails.
anybody who's out there, I'm telling you, like if you missed it last year, you got to come. It's just so much fun and more fun. The games are fun, playing game, but the
Yeah.
camaraderie you just get out of it. It's really, if you're into gaming, and there's an event you can't miss.
It's just hanging out with people, talking
Yes.
games. I didn't even play any full games. I just played like a period here,
Mm-hmm.
period there. You just showing somebody a game, someone showing you. You just want to get an idea on things. You don't want to be nailed down for 2 hours
Right,
playing a
right.
game. It's just, you want to hang out. You want to be free to bounce around, and that's what I did in Colorado. I didn't play anything. I just
And
bounced around.
and you get to play with developers. I got to.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Keith was in. He didn't even launch XHL, and I got to play a period. Vinny and I jumped in and
yeah,
out, played
yeah,
a period with him. And when I got the game, when he launched it, I knew
yeah,
it like that. The
yeah,
developer showed it to me. I
yeah,
mean, what's
yeah,
better? You can't get better than that.
yeah. That was great. You had Clay there.
Right, right.
You
I
had
played
Ian
in
from
his
on
game.
deck.
Right.
Yeah, you had a few other. Turnbull
ST
was
was
there.
there.
St. What was the other guy that was there?
The baseball game.
Steve Shaw. Was it Steve Shaw?
Steve Shaw. But who's the guy with the I can't think of his name. I got it. The baseball game.
Ian Brook. Yeah,
Ian was
Brook
there.
was there. Yeah.
And Raymond represents shootout hockey.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole table for shootout hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to announce the dates because
yeah, we're talking up there, trying to figure out what it's going to be, and trying to get an idea who's coming back this year. Gus says he will teach you Quick Deck CFL at next year's D&D. Yes, we're gonna have to do that.
Gus.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. And Phil says, my first con was D2D, and I packed a suitcase full of games. I just played Hockey Blast for the first time. It was a great weekend. Yeah, I was getting nervous that people were only gonna have one game to play, so I packed up a ton of stuff, and I didn't need. I'll do it again though. I'll pack up my favorite games, and there's always stuff I want to show. I remember last year in Ohio, season ticket football wasn't even out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing the beta, and I brought that, and I was showing everybody that, and that went over really big. So
yeah, we played it this year. Vinny and I actually played. We played a tribute game.
Nice.
Of season ticket football.
Nice. So if anybody's got any last minute questions here for Joe Cards, he's been joining us here on episode 281, and we've been talking to him about how he is a longtime Strat player, 40 years of playing Strat, and now he's playing a whole bunch of other games. Are there any games you haven't played yet that are on your radar, Joe?
Yeah. The hockey game you mentioned, the quick before.
Oh, the Stone Cold?
Stone Cold is on my radar now. And like I mentioned, I've been thinking about, I'm probably going to order it, the CFL game from Play Games, the Express. I'm going to start with the Express. And maybe, I know the new hockey season's coming out with Hockey Blast, so I'm looking forward to that. But those are the two games on my radar right now.
Okay.
I've been going down a scary path. I've been looking at non-sports games because they pop up all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting stuff. I did get into Keith's game, First Contact, Your Town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He showed it to me when we were in, and I fell in love with it. It's a great game. probably one of the only non-sports games that I play. But sometimes I gotta like, okay, just shut the phone and stop looking at some of these games. But those right now are the two games I really have on my radar.
I will play a non-sports game once in a while too. It's just fun just to kind of
To break it
reset
up.
things. Yeah, break it
Yeah.
all up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun playing your heroes, but it's always fun to play something
I,
just a little different.
I have one question for you.
Okay.
When you get an XHL on the table,
I can't show you my notes, but these are my
you're gonna
notes.
love it. You
These are my
gonna
notes.
love it.
I am trying to create a roller hockey game.
Okay.
And so I'm making my notes on what I'd like to do with that. And so what I plan on doing with the XHL is getting my rules and testing a couple of games and just seeing how it goes. And then if it goes well, I'll release the Dave rules for this game. And what I plan on doing is I think it comes with 20 teams. So I've got my teams separated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have almost like what the WAJ did when they started announcing franchises. So I'm going to have all 20 teams lined up, and I'm going to just like roll some dice and make a mini game out of it to see, which team, immediately are out and which teams might advance. And then I'm going to try to whittle it down to 4 franchises for my first season.
It's interesting.
And so it'll be like a game within a game to try to announce what teams will make it into the original XXL season.
I was never a fictional guy. I tried some fictional games, but this game, the way that Keith designed it, it's so much fun with the alternate rules.
Yeah.
And you can, like you said, you can add other alternate rules. You can add tweaks to it, and it won't hurt the game.
Well, that's what I was reading all the rules and the 2-point goals and all of this and all of that, and it was really fun. It sounds like it could be a fun idea. I'm kind of really kind of I'm just working within the Hockey Blast engine, and I'm kind of reworking my own rules here.
And that's what it is. It's based in the Hockey Blast engine.
Yeah. So I've not played a game of XHL yet. Okay, because again, I've just not played one, so I haven't really learned it.
So much fun.
And I thought it'd be kind of fun, but part of me wants to just kind of design my own game with these guys because they're all fictional, and just to see how it goes.
And I don't know where he got the names from. The names he come up, they're beautiful. You look at some of the cards, you're going to be like, and they start to as you play more games, they come to life. These players to you, they start to become real. If that sounds crazy, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because you're seeing them develop. Who the star looks like the star is going to be.
Yeah,
it's fun. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to come up with a NXHL roller hockey thing 4-on-4 and trying to figure out how I would do that and what crazy things I would add and just try to have some fun with that. So that will be getting out. So like I say, I should try to play the actual XHL game because I have the teams and I have the mats and I've done the unboxing.
Awesome.
Yeah, the mat is great. But I am trying to come up with my own little way of doing it though. But anyway, so all right. So we've talked with Joe Cartier for a little over an hour and a half here tonight. We were live taking some questions on YouTube, so we want to thank everybody that tuned in with that. Joe, and thanks for coming on. And I just really wanted to know that. I wanted to talk to someone that had been a longtime player of kind of one sport or one game, I should say. And see what were your thoughts of coming out and playing some different games.
Fun. It was fun, and I'm honored to be on the podcast. I thank you for inviting me, and it was a great time. Great time.
Yeah, it's always fun discussing games. It's been a tough week, for all of us here, for many of us. Myself, I hurt my back. I think I was refereeing. I hurt my back. I couldn't even get out of bed without screaming. It was just tweaked the muscle. But at my old age, that's what it does. So I've had a physically bad week, and just work's been kind of a pain. And I really wanted to talk tonight, so we got a nice discussion in. And now I'm dying to play something here. I think I'm going to lean. I've been on a football kick, Joe, but I think I might have to pull out some highlight hockey and go play that again, because the great thing about the quicker play games is you can just kind of play. I mean, like I say, I'm getting kind of tired here. It's been a long day, but so I don't have to set up a 2 or 3 hour game. I can play a half hour. I can set it up in 10 minutes and play in a half hour, and still enjoy enjoy the heck out of it. So, but anyway, so that is that. So this has been episode 281 of the Digital to Dice podcast. Ways to get a hold of us: digitaltodice.com is the website. That's digitaltodice.com. 978-751-DICE is the text line. digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digital-to-dice. The stars of the week will be back next week. We don't like to have stars in the week when we have a guest on, so we will get those back. And again, if you'd like to be a star of the week, all of our Patreons are eligible to be a star of the week. We have our 3 stars of the week, and so we want to thank all of you. And Joe, any final words here before we sign off?
No, just like you did it. You covered everything. I mean, we really did. We covered every sport. We talked about every sport, all the different games that are out there, and the developers of the great jobs. We covered everything.
Yep. And what's really great is we didn't talk about soccer for 1 second.
We're not going to go there because I almost bought Soccer Blast.
Oh, boy.
It was offered to me at a good deal. And then someone I know, I'll make it quick because someone I know who's a real diehard soccer player tells me, yeah, I might buy that Soccer Blast game. I says, okay, I'll hook you up. So I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it.
I'm tempted to get Soccer Blast or even Appa Soccer. I did play a little bit with Ryan in Connecticut.
I was going to say, you got to ask Ryan Strauss about that one.
Yeah, but we were rolling dice. I guess fast action cards is the way to play that. So,
okay.
We were supposed to hook up, and maybe we still will if he has the fast action cards. He was going to like just show me how it flows. We got to get you to
come down to the South overnight.
I know. It is such a ride, and just with traffic and stuff, I can't even go up my street without hitting traffic here. It's unbelievable. So, but yeah, we'll have to make it a point at some point to get down there and hang out with you guys and play a whole bunch of games. We'll have to make a weekend out of it if we can.
Definitely.
So,
sounds good. Sounds like
all righty. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.